on to
Oh.
those. So I'm wondering.
Okay, now is there Zoom? Is she on there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Call this council public hearing to order. It's Wednesday, December 1st. The time is 6:15 PM. Topic is community development block grant application for Life and Power Empowerment Center. And I'll turn it over, John, should I turn it over to you or to Cindy or?
Well, I'm not gonna do the introduction that city is and building, they've been working with the port on an acquisition. And cities, and counties are the only eligible entities that can sponsor these types of grants. So sending that up for them to, as a community benefit, and
Okay,
whoever in Life and Power side.
sure. It looks like is it gonna be you, Cindy?
It is, yes.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead, because we're kind of all wondering, we know kind of general what your ask is, but maybe you can go a little more in depth for us.
Sure. First, I just want to thank you for your support on this. The city has been so great to work with. We're pretty excited. Most of you know who we are. We're Life Empowered, formerly Riverside Training Centers. We've been supporting adults with intellectual disabilities in Columbia County for almost 50 years now. And we essentially have, as we've moved forward and upgraded our mission and updated our services, our current structure that we own at 105 Port Avenue just doesn't work anymore. Primarily, embarrassingly, it's not ADA accessible for the people we support, which is sort of horrifying. So as we've been working on this process of deciding where we go over the next 5 years, it was determined that a new center made sense, that's state of the art and accessible for the people we support, so we can offer training, skill building, cooking classes, all of the things that are necessary for the folks we support to be successful in their life goals. And so when we looked at doing this process and started down the road, we did a marketing survey first to see if the community supported the concept, and they did. And so then we conducted a feasibility study to determine if that would actually, if it was feasible to try to do the construction, and it was. And when we looked at costs, we determined that it would be almost 80% of building new to revamp this structure because it's so old and in such bad shape. It's essentially an old pole barn that was erected and then added onto over many years. It's not up to code in a lot of ways, not ADA accessible. We're sort of grandfathered in. So we opted to try to do new construction and are pursuing a variety of different grants, including the Community Development Block Grant. And as noted by John, you have to be sponsored by a city or a county entity. We can't do that on our, on our own, which is why we're here today. So the idea would be to replace our building with another similar sized building, about 10,000 square feet, and totally geared toward the people we support and the organizational needs. But more than 80% of it would be about the people with intellectual disabilities that we provide services to.
Okay. Yeah, so you're actually working to put this building on the port property still?
We actually just signed a contract to purchase the land. So we own the building outright. It's been paid for a long time, but as noted, it's not worth upgrading. So yeah, so one of the holdups for this whole process for a lot of funders, private and foundations, were the fact that we don't own the land. And so it didn't make sense to invest in a building that would ultimately go back to the port. So for almost 2 years now, I've been trying to negotiate with the Port of Columbia County for the sale, and we finally moved forward and the contract is signed and we should close on the land this month.
Awesome, good.
Yeah, pretty exciting. That's been really a challenge.
Public notice has to be read into the record.
Okay. You want to read a public notice into the record for me, Kathy?
Sure.
Okay. We have to read a public notice into the record, so we're gonna go ahead and do that now.
Okay.
The city of St. Helens is eligible to apply for a 2021 Community Development Block Grant from the Business Oregon. Community Development Block Grant funds come from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The grants can be used for public facilities and housing improvements, primarily for persons with low and moderate incomes. Approximately $12 million will be awarded to Oregon non-metropolitan cities and counties in 2021. The maximum grant that a city or county can receive is $1,500,000. The city of St. Helens is preparing an application for a 2021 Community Development Block Grant from the Business Oregon for the Life Empowerment Center. It is estimated that the proposed project will benefit at least 75 persons, of whom 95% will be low or moderate income. A public hearing will be held by the St. Helens City Council at 6:15 on Wednesday, December 1st, 2021, in the council chambers at City Hall, 265 Strand Street, St. Helens Plaza entrance. The purpose of this hearing is for the City Council to obtain citizen views and to respond to questions and comments about community development housing needs, especially the needs of low and moderate income persons, as well as other needs in the community that might be assisted with the Community Development Block Grant project and the proposed project. Written comments are also welcome and must be received by November 30th, 2021 at City of St. Helens, 265 Strand Street, St. Helens, Oregon, 97051. Both oral and written comments will be considered by the St. Helens City Council in deciding whether to apply. The location of the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Please contact Kathy Payne, City Recorder, at 366-8217 if you will need any special accommodations to attend or participate in the meeting. More information about Oregon Community Development Block Grants, the proposed project, and records about the city's past use of the Community Development Block Grant funds is available for public review at 265 Strand Street, St. Helens, Oregon, during regular office hours. Advance notice is requested. If special accommodations are needed, please notify Kathy Payne, City Recorder, at 366-8217 so that appropriate assistance can be provided. Permanent involuntary displacement of persons or businesses is not anticipated as a result from the proposed project. If displacement becomes necessary, alternatives will be examined to minimize the displacement and provide required reasonable benefits to those displaced. Any low and moderate income housing that is demolished or converted to another use will be replaced.
Thank you. Okay, so do I need to open this up for visitor comments? So I think I'll go ahead and do that now. There's none here. I don't know if somebody would like to comment that is on Zoom. I see a couple of you on there. Eliza and Peace of Mind. I don't know what the rest of that says, but you can unmute yourself if you'd like to make a comment.
Hi, I'll just introduce myself. My name's Eliza Gallagher, and I'm a resident of St. Helens, and I've recently been hired to be the North Coast Education and Outreach Specialist with Fair Housing Council of Oregon, which is a nonprofit organization. I'm just sitting in on the meeting to learn and to also just introduce myself as someone who will be hopefully a helpful presence in Columbia, Clatsop, Tillamook, and Lincoln counties, represent fair housing laws.
Excellent. Thank you, Eliza.
Thank you all.
And I don't know if Peace of Mind too. Not seeing any others. So just for the public, Cindy, if you could just let the people watching where your current location is, so they may or may not know where you are. I know where you're at on Port Avenue, but some don't.
Yeah, our building is located at 105 Port Avenue. It's right on the corner where Port Avenue turns into Milton Way. We're directly across from Sunset Equipment. If that
Yes,
helps.
and it pretty much is just an old pole barn, almost like what you described.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think I can go ahead and close this hearing. Okay?
Okay, unless anybody has questions for me.
well, I just, so in the 10,000, in the 10,000 square feet, so what will be in there?
Actually, I can take my mask off too, because my coworker just left.
Okay.
A small, right now, this building doubles both as our administrative offices and we just have a giant work floor space that we used to use when we did contract work in-house. And so it's got a kitchen and it's just all chopped up into a bunch of rooms. So the new plan would be still to house our admin team, because there's a handful of us. And then a large conference room that doubles as a work or classroom space for the people we support. ADA accessible bathrooms, a shower, and then a kind of state-of-the-art kitchen that we are talking to OHS or the OSU Extension Office about hosting classes here to support the people that we serve to learn how to cook. But it's technology like stovetops that they can't burn themselves, and cupboards that are motorized, so that for a person, for example, who uses a wheelchair, the cupboard, they would push a button and the cupboard would come down so they can access the contents, and then push a button and it goes back up. So they can be learning in a way that's easiest for them. So that's ultimately it. And then the other part is part of our administrative rule requirements, as I'm sure with the city, is to have an emergency preparedness plan. And that includes for us emergency shelter in the event that one or more of our homes are inaccessible. So this project would also include generators, all of the emergency supplies we need, that in the event that we had to evacuate, the people we support have a place to go. Currently, we would go to a hotel, but with the different changes that are happening with the local hotels and with other demand, it doesn't make the most sense just from an accessibility standpoint and comfort level of the people we support. It would be already a stressful situation. And if everybody was in a hotel room, we don't have enough staff to individually provide those services. The people we support need 24-hour support. So it would have to be a one-on-one situation, and it's just not feasible. So it would double as an emergency shelter. Heaven forbid we need it.
Yeah, on this emergency shelter, are you gonna have a large refrigerator? Or
Yep, that would be part of the kitchen.
was, if you're gonna handle emergencies, you need a large refrigerator, and I'm glad you have generator backup.
Yep, that's all part of the plan. We are already required by rule for every site to have 3 days of perishable food on hand at all times and 10 days of non-perishable food, as well as 5 gallons of water per person per day. So we do things like have filtered water dispensers. So we've always got the 5-gallon jugs. So as we rotate through them, we always have a supply. So we would keep that here as well. And everybody has a flight bag with a sleeping bag and medications and everything they need, because we have to be prepared to evacuate at any time. So we would have the bulk of the things we could maintain here that could be stored long-term, even if we had to go to something like MREs for food in a pinch. And then we would have perishable items as well. If we needed them, they could transport them from the home.
Sounds good. Yes. Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, I appreciate it. And I'm happy to put my information in the chat if anybody wants to ask questions later. I know sometimes it can, things come up when after you've heard something and you're thinking about it later.
Sure, if you just, even you and Eliza, if you guys ever want to look us up on our website too, you can email us all and, just let us, keep us up to date on what's going on too. That'd be great.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.